Hey guys, what is up? Sam or Scorpio here, bringing you guys a Call of the Dead Remake DLC 4 video, and we're going to be going over literally everything we know about this map, including the map name, the release date, the possibility of George Romero returning in some kind of capacity, the crew, the Easter egg, the wonder weapons, everything we know so far about this map. So make sure to drop a like to show your support, and make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications. Everyone who sends me a screenshot over on Twitter of having done either of those things, I will be retweeting and shouting out. So yeah, we're going right into this and starting off with how exactly do we know this map is a Call of the Dead remake? Well, leaks from many reliable sources have told us this, including the Gaming Revolution, who obviously previously leaked almost the entirety of the accurate information we know about Modern Warfare. And he's confirmed pretty much that what has been teased from Blood of the Dead to Classified to Alpha Omega, that we'd be going to the Great War, just simply isn't the case, and the final map of our Aether story will actually be taking place at the site of Call of the Dead in Siberia. Now, it's still possible we see the Great War through some kind of cutscene or something. I'm sure they won't just leave it out and just pretend it never happened, but unfortunately we won't really be playing on an actual Great War map itself, as many are hoping for. So starting off with the map name, this is one significant area we don't really know a huge amount about. However, some map names that have been suggested are things like End of the Dead, or simply just Ultimus or Ultimatum. So many people have been saying those kind of map names. Given that when they renamed Mob of the Dead into Blood of the Dead, they actually obviously kept the of the Dead part at the end of the name. So it could make sense that they do it again, and End of the Dead would be a solid bet, with this obviously standing as the end of our Aether storyline. Again, the title of Ultimus could also work, given we know that the Ultimus crew is obviously where zombies began, and so it would be a nice kind of way to end it. We know that they're going to have a key role on the map from the message on the wall and Classified. Primus will fail, Ultimus will prevail, so they're likely going to have a key role in how we actually end up defeating Dr. Monty, so putting them in the map name could be a nice cool way to send off the storyline. Now, there is actually a small tease all the way back in Revelations through the Monty quotes that give us a strong chance that they have actually planned out this map a long time ago, and it could possibly give us a hint as to what the map name is. The quote from Monty is,
"By the way, I spelled rumors with a U after the O before the R. That's a nice little Easter egg."
This map will obviously be taking place after the Origins and before the Revelations, given that obviously Revelations events was in fact erased when we broke the cycle. This could possibly be indicating that this map's name will be beginning with a U for our final finale of the Aether story, and therefore Ultimus could indeed work. If not this, then obviously a word like Ultimatum or something many have suggested, kind of a bit of a pun on the word Ultimus, could actually work as well, very well, for a title for this map. In terms of our playable characters, it's extremely unlikely the Call of the Dead crew will be returning for our final map of the Aether story, just due to their lack of overall significance really, and being a celebrity cast, it's just unlikely that we'll see them back, at least in the major role of being our main crew. So it's extremely likely, I'd say, based on the way Alpha Omega ended, where our 8 characters are still together, I'd say it's very likely that we do see Primus and Ultimus return with the whole 8 character system that they brought in with that map. However, we do seem to know Danny Trejo, who obviously was a member of the Call of the Dead crew back at the time of that map, will likely be returning in some kind of capacity. Now, we actually saw him added as a playable Blackout character with voice lines, who was Bible in the blackjack shop in the black market. So he is clearly back working with Treyarch, so I think at very least we'll definitely see him having some kind of radios on the map. Since it just seems unlikely they'd bring back a major celebrity actor just for the purpose of a Blackout character, it makes a lot more sense to, while he's in the studio, have him recording a bunch of lines for maybe some radios or something. Because a radio on Revelations actually told us that the entire Call of the Dead crew have gone missing, although we never since learned exactly what happened to them. Or George Romero's assistant, Sally, who was trapped in the Shangri-La time loop in her search for this crew. It's likely this map could give us some kind of closure through these story threads, possibly through some involvement of Danny Trejo through maybe radios, or maybe he'll be tied into the Easter egg in some bigger capacity, and maybe we could even see some other members of the Call of the Dead crew returning. We really don't know exactly as of now, but the only safe bet we have is our playable crew will almost 100% be the Ultimus and Primus crews. Many are wondering if we will see George Romero return in the map, but unfortunately due to his death last year, it's extremely unlikely we will see him return in some major capacity. However, it's possible we could see maybe a message at the end of the Easter egg I'd kind of theorised, saying dedicated to George Romero. This could be a very nice note to actually end our final map on, of the Ether storyline, with George Romero being such a recognisable figure inside of the original Call of the Dead itself, but also being recognised by many as the father of zombies through his classic zombies films that made the genre exactly what it is today, and allowed for the creation, really, of Call of Duty Zombies. I'd be extremely surprised if we didn't see some kind of tribute or Easter egg to George Romero somewhere within this map. As I say, he is extremely iconic to the genre of zombies really in general, but obviously this would rely on Activision managing to get permission for his estate to use his likeness in the game. I don't see any chance that we see him return in the zombie kind of role that he was in the original Call of the Dead, simply because it would be, I think, a massively disrespectful kind of thing to put into the map, given that he passed last year, so putting in a zombie that we kill over and over again to get rewards for would just, I think, be disrespectful in every way. This map is also likely to be absolutely jam-packed with wonder weapons. Being the end of our storyline, we are likely to see a wonder weapon filled map, just like what they did with Revelations, where we saw the Apothecon Servant, the Thunder Gun, the Ray Gun, every OP wonder weapon from Zombies history. I'm sure we'll see the same thing again. Obviously, recently, through updates, they actually added the Ray Gun Mark II to Blood of the Dead and classified after it first appeared in Alpha Omega, so I'm absolutely 100% certain we'll see both the Ray Gun and the Ray Gun Mark II returning inside of this map. Now, leaks from many of those who have actually leaked the map itself being Call of the Dead have also said the map will feature multiple elemental scavenger variants, similar to what Alpha Omega gave us with the different styles of Ray Gun Mark II. Obviously, for those of you who didn't play the game back in the day, back in Black Ops 1, the scavenger was like a sniper rifle that shot explosive rounds that would detonate after a few seconds of shooting and was extremely powerful for killing hordes of zombies right up to the round 50 kind of mark. So it seems very possible we could see elemental kind of versions of that actually returning inside of this map. I think it would be really cool to see the different takes they put on it and generally the kind of fun we could have with it. The original Call of the Dead also did include the VR-11 as a wonder weapon, which could turn zombies back to humans, which funnily enough is also the purpose of the elemental shard. That was actually the artifact that our goal was to acquire inside of Alpha Omega. So it's extremely likely the VR-11 could be retconned within the story to be powered by that elemental shard, allowing this weapon to return in the map and flesh out its lore behind its existence. It is also possible we could see this weapon actually return usable as a secondary kind of wonder weapon, similar to how in the Easter egg in Dead of the Night there is actually a side egg where we can acquire the Savage Impaler, which is like a crossbow-like weapon. I could really see them including some kind of Easter egg similar to that to allow us to get this VR-11 as kind of a weapon we can have fun with. Hopefully they buff it up a bit. Generally, I think that would be a really nice way to include that elemental shard that we obviously really don't know what it does as of now, and generally why we had to go and collect it. As an Easter egg reward in the original Call of the Dead, we could also get the Wunderwaffe, which at the time was returning for its first time since release, and likewise we haven't seen the weapon at all since Back in the Giant. So being such an iconic wonder weapon, I would be surprised if we didn't see this return in some capacity. This wonder weapon is so iconic, and to have not seen it at all in Black Ops 4, even the Thunder Gun we haven't seen whatsoever. It seems shameful, so I really think we need to see some returning wonder weapons, and I think the Wunderwaffe is a really solid bet to see back inside this map. We do know from many of the wonder weapons and the DLC weapons that have been brought over into Black Ops 4 that they can very easily take old weapons from Black Ops 3 and simply port them over, so bringing the Wunderwaffe into the game should be extremely easy for them to do. Obviously we saw weapons like the M16 and the Peacekeeper returning in their exact versions from Black Ops 3 inside of this game, so we know this is something they can do with little effort. In terms of the Easter egg ending cutscene, many were unhappy with Treyarch's decision to use an artwork-based cutscene for Alpha Omega's intro and outro. This was likely a budgetary decision due to the massive number of characters. I believe it's about 12 characters that we do see in those cutscenes. So naturally many people are hoping that they have managed to acquire the budget needed to give us the full animated cutscenes we really want to see to wrap up the Ether storyline in style. Many people obviously didn't really like the Alpha Omega ending cutscene simply off of that fact, and I can honestly get behind it. moments like the death of Maxis totally saw the emotion behind them ruined through that style. It just doesn't convey the emotion properly. So I really think we do need that full animated cutscene. And I do think we are going to get it, because we actually saw hints towards this earlier in the year where we saw Travis Wong post on his Instagram page where he's clearly in the studio for recording for Black Ops 4. For those of you who aren't familiar with he is the mocap actor for both Takeo in the Ether storyline and Diego in the Chaos storyline inside of Black Ops 4. He put up a post generally saying that he'd been working on Call of Duty for 10 years now, and in his first post actually, earlier from this year, from January, he says, "Hello, my name is Diego, my name is Takeo," which likely suggests he was in the studio recording for both those characters at the same time. Obviously the guy does a lot of work outside of Call of Duty 2, so they only bring in these characters every so often, so it's very possible that when he was recording there back in January, he was recording both his scenes for Diego in Ancient Evil and his Takeo scenes for the Call of the Dead remake. Obviously, in terms of recording Takeo scenes this year, this DLC is the only map we have where it is possible he could have been recording for, since all the previous maps we'd had, being Blood of the Dead and Classified, were back in last year, and obviously Alpha Omega had the drawn cutscenes, so he wouldn't really have played much of a role in that. Obviously with both Ancient Evil and Alpha Omega, we actually saw the intro and outro cutscene data mined and leaked, so many are hoping they'll be more careful this time to avoid the final ending of the Ether story from being spoiled in advance. I would hope and imagine that they would be more careful this time, since this story has obviously been the pride and joy of the Zombies team for the last 10 plus years, so I'm sure the last thing they want is for us to find out and see just how it ends in that way, so I really hope they will be more careful and they won't actually add in any of the files related to this cutscene until right when it's needed for the map to actually drop, given that it doesn't even release until a week later from the PS4 version on PC anyway, so there's really no need for those files to be there so far in advance. Now I'm sure the area many of you want to know about is the release date, so in terms of this we have two different dates that are extremely possible we could see this happen. Between the release of DLC 3 and 4, the gap has always been the exact same for every single Treyarch game, going back to the Days of Moon being 56 days. Every time between DLC 3 and 4 for a Treyarch game, it has been exactly 56 days. And now 56 days after July 9th, which was obviously the release of Alpha Omega, this would land us on September 3rd, which coincidentally lands inside of the Ether storyline as the exact day of the first human contact with Element 115. Now, we obviously know that will be important to the storyline of the map, based on some radios in Alpha Omega, but I will be going over that inside of a future video, so this date could honestly work very well. This would also sit 9 days before the Modern Warfare beta, allowing both platforms plenty of time to be playing the map before that beta actually begins on September 12th on PS4 and then the 19th on Xbox. It means each platform would have over a week to generally enjoy the map, get the Easter eggs done and stuff, so I could really see this being a very possible date. However, one thing that makes this a little bit less likely is that would mean that this still places inside of Operation Apocalypse Z, and obviously on the roadmap for this operation we haven't seen any mention of another map after Alpha Omega coming inside of this operation, so it does seem more possible that it would be coming inside of Operation 6 being our final operation. This would be September 24th. This is the date where, based on the in-game countdown of the dates, we know DLC 4's operation will be dropping, and I think honestly it's very likely it could drop on the same day as the operation. This date, September 24th, is just a day after the ending of the Modern Warfare beta, so it would mean that after that's over with, we do have a nice clean time where people can then get right into the new content on Black Ops 4, play through that, and then by the time that's kind of run its course, we'll be right getting close to the Modern Warfare beta. I feel like if they leave it any later, it is starting to hedge a little bit too close towards the release of Modern Warfare going into October, because Activision really like to leave at least a couple of weeks between the launch of different major things, so I'd say the September 24th date would be the most possible date we will see this. This could unfortunately mean we don't see as much marketing and hyping up for this as we're hoping for, since Activision will likely want to keep the focus itself on the Modern Warfare beta, unfortunately, but I really hope we do kind of get it marketed at the same time to get the hype really built up for it. I heavily doubt they just leave the final Ether map after all this time to just be left in the dust behind a beta. So overall, I would say September 24th is your date for DLC 4. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope I've gone over everything you want to see me talk about. If there is anything else you want to see me talk about, any theories you have, anything you want information on, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And yeah, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Make sure to turn on those post notifications to keep up to date on all the Call of Duty Zombies info heading towards DLC 4 and the end of our Ether storyline. And yeah, I'll see you on more Black Ops 4 content. Bye!